Hi there, Paul from BlokeBusters here, and this is something a little different from what you're used to. What we've kind of decided to do is every now and again we're going to take an old episode from the feed and re-release it, as it were. Now, we've been going for quite a while now, and we know that not everyone decides to go back and listen to all over 100 episodes of our main reviews and all of our extra stuff, and perfectly understandable. So from time to time, we're going to go back and take an episode that you may not have heard and bring it forward to now so that you get another chance to listen to it. And we're going to do very little to change it, if anything. It'll just be like with this one, the regular file, just put out again. We might change the intro or outro if we need to, but I don't believe we will. So hopefully, with all that being said, you get ready to sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode, which is our Pacific Rim review from almost 5 years ago.
The BlokeBusters podcast is a proud member of the Pod Bros Network, where you can find us as well as other excellent podcasts such as Sarcasm City, Worst Millennials, and Late Night Gamers at podbros.com. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy another episode of the BlokeBusters podcast.
Tonight's story is somewhat unique and calls for a different kind of introduction.
And welcome to episode 21 of the BlokeBusters podcast. I'm Paul.
And I'm Brian.
And today we will be discussing Pacific Rim. But first, in case you feel the need to contact us about anything whatsoever, we can be reached at BlokeBusters on Twitter, .com/BlokeBusters on the Facebooks, and the emails are contact@blokebusters.me or blokebusterpodcast@gmail.com. I really should get around to fixing that one day. just give it a
Yeah, I like a challenge.
Yeah.
Got it good. All right.
Alright, then, would you like to grace us with the synopsis?
What the hell is this about? Sure. Alright, we will just go with, as a war between humankind and monstrous sea creatures wages on, a former pilot and a trainee are paired up to drive a seemingly obsolete special weapon in a desperate effort to save the world from the apocalypse, which, spoiler alert, may or may not be cancelled.
Yeah.
So.
I must say, the only problem I have with that synopsis is trainee. Really?
I didn't write the damn thing. I just read it.
Well, yeah. I wasn't blaming you.
Yes.
I'm not sure if the person actually paid attention to the part in the film
I
where they
know,
were
yes.
where they pointed out that she was under orders not to do anything.
We'll see.
Well, whatever.
All right, let's take
So,
a look at this cast.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, let's get through the nuts and bolts here. I
Yeah,
guess.
sure. Director Guillermo del Toro. He was
Yes.
also one of the writers on it. The budget is $190 million, and the box office as of today, being the 17th of July, is $98,758,773, and just over half of that is actually, if you're in the US, foreign market. Which I found interesting, although not to worry, this has only been out for 5 days, so that's actually not too bad.
No, they're gonna clean up on Blu-ray and
Oh, yeah.
DVD this film.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain, even though obviously ticket sales go down, I think they might even get close to making it back just in the box office.
Theatrical. Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I did not see this in 3D. I'm assuming
No,
you didn't.
No.
I kind of wanted to, but I went with my wife. She doesn't like 3D, and I was okay with just seeing the 2D. And I think it was one of those ones of I saw a couple of points where it might have been kind of cool to see it in the 3D. But
No, I'm not wearing the damn glasses for 2 hours just for one neat scene or whatever.
Yeah.
And we'll get there, but it looked good without the stupid 3D.
right.
All
Alright, so basic cast list here.
Nice.
We have as Raleigh Beckett, the main character, Charlie Hunnam.
Okay, As you read these, I have a plan for you, Sir Paul,
Okay.
since I wanted to bring up some of the cliches of this film, even though I did enjoy it.
Cliches? What are you talking about?
Cliches, which, aren't always a bad thing, as you will discover.
Right,
But you give the real name, and I will give how I think what they should have been called in the film. Okay?
All right, okay.
These are the cliched characters. So,
All right, so,
Raleigh.
Okay, so Charlie Hunnam as Raleigh Beckett.
All right, and he is hero fighting demons inside and out.
Yep, okay, I can see that. All right, well, I'll go with the love interest. Strenuous, that one. They have as Mako Mori Rinko Kikuchi.
As mysterious girl with something to prove.
Oh, don't they all? That was a joke, listeners.
Hey, you're on your own there.
Okay.
All right.
As Stacker Pentecost, that would be the general, or I can't remember what his actual rank was.
Okay.
It was Idris Elba.
Yes.
One.
And playing the tough military guy with soft center.
Like a Tootsie Pop.
Sure, yeah.
And I actually wanted to say, when he was talking in this, I knew he wasn't American, and I couldn't recognize him because I've not seen the shows that he's been on that kind of made his name.
He was in the American Office, U.S.
right.
version of The Office, for like a season.
Right, he was also in Luther in the UK,
Luther,
which
Prometheus, I believe. Was that him?
probably.
Yes,
I don't remember Prometheus
yeah.
that well, so. But I wasn't 100% sure where he was from, and there were a couple of times where he was speaking, and I don't know if it was because he was speaking just after the Australian guys were speaking, but it sounded like he was going with that kind of accent in there. But
Sometimes he had an accent, and sometimes he didn't. I was like, yeah.
I'm not sure he knew what he was going
Maybe
for.
there's in that where, it's just he's lived all over. It's just, it's an amalgam of different things. But,
Well, I mean, he'd been to Japan for a
yes.
while as
Yeah.
well, so. Alright.
Who do we have next?
We have, I have, let's go with the two doctors here. We have
Okay.
Charlie Day of, I believe, It's Always Sunny fame.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
As Dr. Newton Geisler.
Also as eccentric, funny scientist.
Well, let's see what you think of the other one then. Mr. Bern Gorman, a wonderful actor actually, as Dr. Herman Gottlieb.
Okay. Also as really Britishy science guy.
Yeah.
And I have in quotations, Tucker from Something About Mary.
Yeah, okay.
He was with the arm cane thingy,
I can see that,
Spot on and cheerio and right on, good sport. It was all of that, yeah.
I mean, he is English. Well, he's British. I'm going to say British because I can't be absolutely certain as it's English and not Welsh or whatever. But that was putting it on.
It was the cliched.
Especially given that his
British
name is Dr. Herman Gottlieb. He's German. What's he doing as an Englishman?
Right over, old chap. Yes, spot on. I think that was actually in the movie. I don't think I'm making that up. I think that was a line.
I think I did. Everyone laughed at the line of like, we are jolly well going to show these people.
Yeah.
I think that was the point where it tipped over from being, it's kind of like they're taking the piss to, okay, I'm on board with this guy now.
Yeah. You have anyone else down there?
I have the young and old Australian. If we go with the old Australian first, Max Martini, lovely last name, as Herc Hansen.
I want to know if that's I think that's his showbiz name.
Probably.
There's no way there's Mr. and Mrs. Martini.
Yeah, well, and you wouldn't imagine that guy being Mr. Martini.
And if you did, you think you'd name your kids Shaken and Stirred. No.
Well, maybe his middle name is Shaken.
Not
Max
Stirred.
Stirred Martini. Well, what do you have?
Or Dirty. His middle name is Dirty.
Max Dirty Martini. Well, do you have a alternative
I
name
did
for the
not,
father?
although I was going to draw some parallels to one of my favorite films, but let's just call these two Iceman and Slider.
Okay.
Do you see where I'm going with that?
I do see where you're going with that, yes.
Okay.
Well, and then, of course, the other one, Robert Kaczynski as Chuck.
Who was Chuck again?
Chuck was the young one who didn't like the main guy at all until right at the very end when he did.
Yes.
The respect was earned at the end
All right.
there. as it always is.
I didn't have anything for him, but I don't think you wrote this guy down, but you'll know who I mean. Cool bow tie guy.
Yeah.
Okay, he was in Star Trek.
Yeah, Mr. Cool Bow Tie.
Yeah, cool bow tie guy. You gotta have weirdo bow tie guy.
Right.
I forget. Yeah, I don't know. You know, the guy in the control room area for control. You know, the Jaegers.
Oh yes, the Joseph Gordon-Levitt lookalike.
Yeah, kind of. Yes. Yeah, but with a deeper red.
Yeah. I saw it and I thought, oh, it's the Joseph Gordon-Levitt in Looper, just before he turns into Bruce Willis in that time.
Kinda. Yeah. And then I couldn't place him the whole time. Then I realized he was in the not original Star Trek, but J.J. Abrams Star Trek. I can't remember the character, but I know he's in there somewhere.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll see him in parts here and there. I'd like to think he gets a lead part, but since neither of us can remember who he is, I don't know if directors
It's cool
will.
bow tie guy. Yeah, that's all you need to know. So there's your main cast of characters.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't have anyone else
No.
written down. Did you have any other cliche ones there? I mean, there is one person we kind of skipped over and we haven't written down.
Oh yes, we will get to that, gentlemen. I believe in good time. Yeah. So where would you like to head for? I just wanted to I mean, there are other films we could easily draw this to, but what stuck out most to me was an 80s film. By the name of Top Gun. And I think there were influences all throughout this film. If you watch Top Gun and then you watch this, I even will challenge you that there are a couple of shot-for-shot styled shots. Not, obviously not huge monsters in Top Gun, but
no
very similar camera angles, camera work.
Yeah.
With fly-over type things.
Yeah.
Even like The Rock. There's, at the very end when they're on their little capsules or something, and you think they're gonna kiss, but they just kind of hug or whatever, and then you got the jets flying overhead. There's a little Top Gun-ish, a little The Rock, but I mean, those two Australian guys were Iceman and Slider, giving Mav and Goose the hard time through the whole movie. And then finally, like, the other guy was a little Iceman, too, because finally got his respect. And then the other thing, the main character gets grounded, oh, you aren't going to be in this fight. And, I wonder if he's going to get a chance. I wonder if something's going to go wrong where they'll need him. And once you know, Maverick's on standby on the aircraft carrier, and what do you know? They need him. And, hey, what do you know? EMP or whatever happened. And I got an analog giant robot.
Well, since you brought that up, I have a little bit of an issue.
With the analog?
Kind of, yeah. So... And I'm sure we'll probably get people saying, oh, it's a different point in time or whatever. But so when they first did the drift together in the Jaeger, and the inexperienced young woman ends up being stuck in one of the memories and activates one of the weapons, which starts loading. The way that they manage to stop it is they pull the electricity out of the main console, which shuts down the Jaeger immediately. Which says to me that the Jaeger needs contact with the console or needs electricity of some kind to keep it running.
I don't think this film is concerned with a whole lot of authenticity as far as the inner workings of these Jaegers.
I mean, and then, 30 minutes later, it's, oh no, every single piece of electricity is gone, we have no consoles anymore, and they say, well, hang on, this one doesn't use electricity.
Maybe it can switch between the two. Like your phone can be an analog or...
Oh, so it's a hybrid.
Yes, it's a hybrid, yes.
So as long as it doesn't run very fast, it's fine.
Yeah, it's just, it doesn't have all the features, but it can still, walk around, has a sword.
Yeah.
The very advanced sword.
Yeah, that only one person seemed to know about.
Apparently. Yeah, I didn't think about
that. The person that piloted the damn thing didn't know about it.
And I just want to say real quick before we continue to sound like we're shitting on this film. From my perspective, I'm speaking for me. Loved this movie.
Oh yeah,
and I mean, it was supposed to be cliched and campy in those areas.
Yeah,
and it's just supposed to be a great time, which it was.
And of course, for me, coming from I enjoy an anime standpoint, I mean, this was most people say this is sort of Gundam / Neon Genesis Evangelion. Which is,
I didn't understand any of those words.
Okay, but basically, Neo Genesis Evangelion.
You don't need to. Yeah.
If I really dumb it down, is about
thank you.
is about people piloting giant robots fighting monsters.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, I mean the actual nuts and bolts of it, very different.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
So I went into this
And a little Power Rangers-esque too, I guess.
Yeah,
Right? Because
yeah.
don't they get in like the big old
Well, they get
morph
something
into the
that
big guy.
combines,
Yeah. Yeah, and then they fight weird things. I don't know.
weird,
Yeah.
very slow moving costume people.
Yes.
Well, you never think that since those people are clearly monsters in costumes, then the Megazord or whatever was also a guy in a giant robot parts costume. Just bang, bang.
Hey, that was some high production value. In
Oh,
those,
yeah.
Okay, those shows.
Yeah, come on, Japan, bring it back.
No, no need.
Ah. If you haven't, try and find a couple of clips of the original Japanese version of.
Oh boy. Yeah. If you need a break from internet, whatever.
Well, technically,
Other activities on the interwebs.
Technically, the US version that we all saw. Well, I say we all
We
saw.
all saw. Some
Okay.
accidentally, some on purpose.
Yeah. The parts where they're in full costume and they got the helmets on, those are mostly taken directly from the Japanese show, and they just made sure that the costumes lined up when the helmets are off.
Oh, righty.
Yeah.
Let's steer this ship back on.
Oh, yes. Back,
Drop the ship, Jaeger, back into the water.
yes, back to the robots and the giant monsters.
Yes, exactly. Back to serious talk.
Alright, so yeah, I did really enjoy this film. It's a very stylized film, again, that's the sort of stuff I go for.
Yes.
And giant robots fighting giant monsters, what's not to like, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be people that are like, oh, it's just made as a blockbuster and nothing else, there's no real substance behind it.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No. As long as it's made well. As long as,
yeah, exactly. Which I want to get to here. But yeah, when we first suggested her, kind of worked out that this would be our next film.
Yeah.
Wasn't excited. Like, even seeing the poster like 6 months ago and stuff, I was like, oh, this looks completely ridiculous and stupid. It looks like Sharktopus or whatever. It looks like something that should be on just the Sci-Fi Channel at
like
10 o'clock
Sharknado.
on like 10 o'clock on Saturday night or something, and just no one's home and that's what's on. But
as I figured you
so
would
I was
think,
hesitant,
yeah.
I'm like, because I lean towards story, you lean towards visual.
Yeah,
and
not to say I don't like the good story, but
yeah,
visuals
but
help.
leaning, yes,
Yeah.
yes, preferences. But I figured this wouldn't have a whole lot in the way of story, and I'm like, well, let's, Bargain Tuesday, it could be a good time. And I came out of that theater so much happier than I thought I'd be. I thought I would maybe give it, like a C+ type thing,
Right.
And I wanted to sit through like the entire credits, even after the little extra scenes and the amazing closing credit sequence, which was just gorgeous.
Yeah.
I mean, that thing had to cost $2 million right there. That
Oh, probably.
closing credit sequence.
Well spent, I would say.
It's
If you got to spend $2 million.
gorgeous, yeah. But yeah, it's set up. It is a summer blockbuster. It is perfect. I wish it had come out early in the summer, but I understand, not wanting to compete with Superman or Iron Man or Star Trek. But I will say I don't know if it's a better film because it's hard to kind of bring two different films together. But I would say theater experience, I enjoyed this much more than Man of Steel. And I know I had someone talking in Man of Steel, which probably plays a part of it. But as far as just good fun and escapism, which is what most movies are intended to be, nailed it. Out of the park. Just perfect.
Yeah.
Amazing score. Just that gets you pumped up, and it's like you feel like you're at a game. And
I had
that
theme tune stuck in my head.
But yeah,
Could not get that out of my head.
they only play
all day.
it 435 times. But
And of course, when the credits roll, off it comes again.
oh god, I almost bought it on iTunes. I don't know why I haven't. I'm probably going to buy it and listen to it on the way home. But
And I may or may not quote unquote buy it at some point as well.
Internet cops, you know where he is.
Well, hopefully you don't, but
Yes.
whatever.
Yeah. I was amazed. It just looks incredible.
Yeah.
Tons of action, and even, when it's not giant monsters fighting, you have, like, the fighting in between the good guys. And there's still some good scenes, and, when he's Charlie Hunnam or whatever is fighting Knives Chow. Let's call her. I thought I am not racist, but I thought it was Knives Chow for a while. I'm like, is that Knives Chow?
Wait, you mean with the blue tint in the hair?
Yeah, from Scott Pilgrim. I'm like, is that her? And then I had to IMDb it after. I was like, oh no.
Well, I would say that's fair enough because
She
obviously
does look a lot like her.
Yeah, they look fairly similar. And then when you first meet her and during the training/fight sequence, she has that blue tint to some of her hair, which then seemed to disappear.
I think yes, they made me out to be just they all look alike kind of guy. But no, she was that scene, like that was expertly choreographed. I thought it looked really well.
I was actually reading just before you turned up. Guillermo del Toro said that he wanted to frame that fight scene as he would have framed a sex scene in any other film. Because obviously in the film, I know spoilers and whatever, just pay attention, people. That's what we do.
Yeah.
But they don't have any form of sex scene in the film.
They don't
just
even
have
kiss.
this.
Yeah, I thought they were at the end, and I was like, oh boy, this is going over the top on the cheese factor. But they just hug. But
which. Yeah, I like. Yeah,
it's meant to be. Yeah, it'll be done off screen.
Yeah. It's implied that they will be together.
Yes, they will. Yes, in Pacific Rim 2, they will. Yes.
Pacific Rim.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah. The entire film is just, oh no, there's a rift in the Atlantic. Oh no.
Atlantic Rim. No.
This is a film that they did wrap up fairly well.
They did, but. Then again, that's never stopped Hollywood before. If it makes enough money, there will be a way. Yes, whether they got to release it straight to DVD or whether they only have one original cast member, they will make Jurassic Park 8.
They'll have it be the bow tie guy. He'll be the only
bow
one.
Bow tie guy will be the only one left. Yes.
Wow, that strange influenza virus.
He will be Eugene Levy in the American Pie films, or he will be Jeff Goldblum in the Jurassic Park films. The only guy that signs on to do it. Yeah. Oh well. Until then, I'm enjoying the original.
Yeah, definitely. This is something that I know I will rewatch.
I will buy this on the day it comes out on Blu-ray.
Yeah,
I will not wait.
It's one of those few films that there doesn't need to be a lot of real substance to the story. Mm-hmm. It's just, it is a good story overall, on top of fantastic visuals and another example of, even though it's not human fight, the fight scenes were good as well. There wasn't a lot of repetition.
No, I mean, I know we're obviously every day we're at the highest technology we can be with special effects, but there were a lot of close-ups.
Yes.
Lots of close-ups, a lot of quick edits. I know that keeps the action going, but I just wondered if I would be interested to read or to find out if Guillermo thought that if it was further back, if it would look too Godzilla-like, or, seeing both monsters in a big shot, or a monster and a Jaeger fighting, you know what I mean? And then you can start to lose the reality, I think.
Yeah,
if that's what I was thinking when I was watching it.
Well, he going into it, I saw, he didn't speak much about it, but he wanted it to be in the style of, like, the old Godzilla films. Mm-hmm. He was saying that and if you actually think about it, in the film there's not a lot of real death in it. You see destruction, but most of the places have been evacuated or whatever, so it's another kind of ending of Man of Steel.
Well, you see Fry's brother get pulled out of the Jaeger. That he dies there.
Yeah.
Yes. Yancey! Don't name your kids Yancey, people.
Unless you're being ironic, and even then don't.
Unless you're like David X. Cohen or something, then you can name your kid Yancey.
Executive producer. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's a really geeky reference.
Wow, yeah. Any people know David X. Cohen, good for you. All right.
And the fact that I just went executive
Yes.
that's going even further.
Yes.
But, yeah, and I thought there were a lot of times as well, on top of the fact that they were able to look good close up, far away, but they also managed to do a lot of very good showing exactly the size difference of these huge things.
Yeah.
I mean, there was one shot that, for me, I mean, it played for a laugh, but for me it was showing this juxtaposition of this giant fish bursts through several floors of a building and just knocks the little Newton's cradle.
I thought that was kind of dumb.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That was going a little bit too far, but I mean, yeah.
I mean,
The
the
audience-
one guy in front of me went, just
Yeah.
like, it was the funniest thing you'd ever seen. I'm like, it's a
I mean,
little
that-
silly, but...
my audience did the sort of type thing.
Yeah.
Like, there was a chuckle there, but I thought, wow, you really do see this entire side of a building just has this giant monster arm coming through, and then this little tiny thing on a desk.
And kudos for you knowing the correct name for that, and not just the ball desktop thingy.
Oh no! I've always known it was a Newton's cradle, and I'm
we're
always
both
surprised
men
when
of
people
science.
do.
Yeah, but
I've always wanted one of them as well, but I've never had one.
sorry, extremely ridiculous tangent. But did you see the MythBusters?
I
when
did,
They created
yes.
the giant Newton's cradle. Oh my god,
Yeah.
that was fantastic. Okay.
MythBusters is always fun for seeing where you can go with those types.
Oh
of
my
things.
god, yeah. But you do lose a lot of energy, as they found out, with this, the more you scale up.
Yeah, it's probably why they're very small dense balls.
Yes. All right. I did want to bring up one of my favorite directors of all time.
Yeah.
Heavy on the sarcasm. Mr. Michael Bay.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Which I put on Facebook and I tweeted about, this film looking like a Michael Bay film, except it being good
Yeah.
and watchable.
Yeah.
I will say, this looks like it could be a Michael Bay film if you saw the poster.
Yeah.
Like when I saw the poster 6 months ago, I would totally believe directed by Michael Bay underneath the title.
The oddest thing I thought was leading up to it, everything was presented by Guillermo del Toro.
Yes, he hasn't directed
Much like, was
it.
it Pan's Labyrinth, I think
No,
it was that one?
He
first?
directed that,
Okay.
wasn't it?
What, one of them...
Mama, that was like the most recent, wasn't it? The
Yeah,
horror film.
one of them was, presented by Guillermo
And
del Toro. And that's what this one
the
said.
ghost one, what was that one? I don't Orphan or Orphanage? The Orphan. I don't know.
Probably
There's two different
Orphanage,
films.
I don't know.
One's presented by him, and
Yeah.
one's has nothing to do with.
Yeah, Orphan is an odd one. I don't think it's the one you're thinking
Yeah, I think
of.
it's Orphanage or something. It's a haunted orphanage.
Yeah.
Whatever. But that was a presented by. But yes, this.
Yeah. Yeah, so coming into this, I thought, this won't be directed by Guillermo del Toro because this is presented by him. Because that's what it said in the first trailers that came out. And then it was like, directed by Guillermo del Toro. It's like, okay. Why didn't you say that in the trailer?
Pan's Labyrinth is one of my favorite films visually. And I think it's just a great fairy tale. Just a great, grim fairy tale.
Yeah, I'm always a fan of the Grimm Siders.
Oh my god, that's a beautiful movie, and that's one of my favorite. And I try to get people to watch that. That's one of them. A film I try to introduce when people are trying to get into foreign films. I'm like, that's a great way to get into foreign films.
Yeah,
it's just because it's so beautiful and so interesting. But he's one of my favorite people to direct. I wish he directed more, but it's obviously takes time with the projects he wants to do.
Well, and going down that road, then, what did you think of the Hellboys?
See, I have not even seen all of the second Hellboy, but I enjoyed. Once again, visually, like I think of him as a visual director.
Very much so.
Tells a story like Ang Lee,
and Terry Jones as well. Very, very specific style type thing.
Yes, and meant to do certain things like Ang Lee, not meant to do Godzilla, or not Godzilla, Hulk. I mean, sorry, pardon me. Corrections department, corrected myself. Okay, but but very stylistic, very visual directors. That's their medium for telling a story. Where like Scorsese or something might rely more on the plot and camera work. You think you kind of think of iconic camera shots, but
well, speaking of Scorsese, I recently saw The Departed for the first time actually, and fantastic. And I didn't realize
lots and lots of death in that movie. Not for the faint of heart, that one.
No, and a couple of actual shocker deaths as well. That was.
A little heavy-handed, spoiler alert again, with the rat on the windowsill at the end. I get it, he's a rat.
Well,
that's what happens to rats.
Would you be interested to know that was not planned? There actually was just a rat on the thing, and they decided to stick it in.
I still like it, but okay, yeah. All right, once again, let's redirect this train. But I wanted to, get back. Poor choice of words on Michael Bay. I don't want to get on Michael Bay. I want to stay as far away from him as I can. But
unless you're in a gigantic truck or a Jaeger of some kind, chasing him down.
I would like to squeeze him between my giant Jaeger fists. But, as far as, like I said, this looks like the style of film he would do. But I think where this film separates itself is, I think Michael Bay films take themselves too seriously. I think they aren't in on the joke, where this film was, I think, very conscious of, I'm a summer blockbuster, I'm going to have a cliched line here, I'm going to have another ridiculous line here. I can't think of, I had a few examples, but I've lost them. But those just crowd pleaser lines, the King Kong beauty lines, that I call them. It's like, let's dumb it down. But I think, like Pearl Harbor or something, takes itself way too seriously, and Transformers, they try to go way too heavy with the emotional parts, and it's Transformers, people. Let's just have them looking cool and fighting each other,
Yeah, I will say, I enjoyed Shia LaBeouf in the second and third one. The first one I thought he was still finding himself. I know, but apparently Shia LaBeouf is not in it.
Bow tie guy will be.
He'll be scientist number 2 in the war room. I don't know, but I enjoyed what they did with that family. That sort of became the we're not too serious part, and of course, if you don't mention the terrible sort of twin robots that are just a Mexican guys, and it's
I've
what
only
the hell
seen the
is
first
that
one, so
yeah. The third one, the humans don't take themselves too seriously, but the actual Transformer action is too serious.
But regardless, I think you know the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, it does go.
You do know what I'm saying. I think where this film works.
Yeah,
I think, and
this
film, I know Michael Bay has his fans and whatever.
Yeah,
and I'm not to say I haven't enjoyed a Michael Bay film first time out.
Yeah,
to some degree, but they are what they are, and they're never gonna get above like a B- kind of in my world.
Yeah,
just because they're so silly and stupid, and 90% of the budget is on pyrotechnics. And that's fine if that's what you want to see. But I think this film, Guillermo, I think was in on the joke.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet
wasn't trying to play it seriously.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet he had a checklist of cliches.
Yeah,
and it's these are going in.
We got to get this point in here. We got to get that in the second act. We got to get this in the third act.
We got to get the 2 teams of people that are clearly highly skilled, that are only around for less than 5 minutes, and you never get any actual character development from them. So it's not a shock that they're going to die.
The main character has to have a loss in his life, and then they have to have allies that are actually enemies that are actually allies that are resentful or jealous, and you hit all of those, and I wonder who his co-pilot's going to be. I wonder. We're looking. Oh, we're definitely ruling out the Asian girl.
Yeah,
definitely. Oh wait, it's going to be the Asian girl.
We're ruling out this one person that appears to be getting a lot of screen time right now.
Yes,
but we're sure she's not going to become a major character.
And there's some reason that the tough military guy is protecting her. But
I must say, I didn't realize that the girl would end up being his adopted daughter. Because when they were saying, I made a promise, it seemed like he maybe promised her and maybe her mother or something that he would take care of her or something. So maybe not a daughter, but he would make sure that she was all right. And then all of a sudden, it's just like, I've raised you. It's like, okay, she's his daughter.
Foster daughter, whatever.
You could have thrown the word daughter in there before this scene, but whatever.
It was,
Again, it's one of those little nitpicks in a general film that's really enjoyable. So
like that. Those scenes I don't think were overly boring, but I did enjoy them. And even when they get to the Bill Pullman speech, Independence Day speech, today is the day. You can just write one of those out in 30 seconds and it'll be the same idea.
The trailer line, of course.
Canceling the apocalypse, yes.
Although, I will say, based on the trailer, I was going in, and I thought it would be this one film, set this very certain way. And then, just before I went in, I ended up seeing a half-page written review. And I read it, and I was like, no, this is different from what the trailer is. And I went in, and it was like, the trailer doesn't show anything about the fact that the main character has lost a brother or is dealing with anything like that. And there's just so many of the things that weren't in the trailer that actually half of the trailer is in the first 15 minutes. I think a lot of it is showing you what he's telling you about when they first attacked, and that's over and done with at the beginning. So this is another example of, I really want most trailers to be like this, so you think it's, obviously you get the gist of it.
Into the film, but don't ruin everything.
I know that not all films can have enough trailer material in the first 15 minutes to cover that, but
yes, if it's a Jennifer Aniston movie, they have to show the best parts, otherwise no one will go.
What's that new one? This Is the Millers or something like that?
I don't know. Yes. Pretending to be a family, whatever.
I saw
because everyone wants to see Jennifer Aniston as a stripper now, not 15 years ago. Okay.
I saw that trailer and I thought, this is an interesting premise, but I just don't see it working. I don't see it being something really working.
It'll be number one for a week or two. But,
Yeah, probably didn't come out against anything else, I think, that week.
Yes.
Alright. Well, just to get back to nitpicking a bit, the biggest nitpick I had with the film is actually not the very, very end shot, but right at the end. And so, spoilers for those of you that don't know and don't care, because I'm assuming those of you that do care have seen the film now.
Yes.
At the end, they find out that you can only go through the rift if there is kaiju DNA connected to you, so that the machine will read you on their end as being kaiju and will let you through. So they grab one, they go down, they don't grab the one that they were going to grab, but that's just a weird little bit that they do. They grab one, they go through, and as he's going through the wormhole, he manages to get the female out, because he's like, okay, I had to finish this, and of course, oh no, I have to do it manually.
Oh no, Armageddon. We must do it manual override.
So to start off with, it really seemed like they were actually going to end up, especially since...
Oh, I thought he was going to bite it.
I thought they both were. I thought that they were really going to go with it, especially since they had that line of, I have terrible timing. I was doing that. And then it was like, wow, okay, these people actually might sacrifice themselves for the greater good. Mm-hmm. And then they go down and you find out, okay, he's not willing to sacrifice her. I can run with that, that's fine. And so, he does the inflatable thing, which works in a wormhole, and sends her up anyway, but whatever. Again, another little nitpick. It really is the end. I think they were trying to scramble for running this. But so he ends up getting out on the other side of this wormhole, and he sets off the nuclear reactor to go nuclear, which doesn't actually work completely the way they were doing it, but whatever. And so he does that. He gets himself into the escape pod, and the escape pod goes up and through the wormhole without any kaiju DNA. Yeah. How do you get through the wormhole?
Hey, enjoy the movie.
Yeah. Apart from that, because I saw that and it clicked in my head, because I am too logical of hang on. But yeah, this film isn't meant to be viewed like that. It's meant to be viewed as, this is just the blockbuster film
just
to see.
Pure fun. Yeah, I just recalled what was one of my major problems.
Alright.
What would normally be, like I said, a major problem, but I was okay with it. But I thought at the time, they make a huge point, the entire film, about how compatible you need to be to drift and how difficult it is. And even though these two are meant to drift together, they screw it up the first time. She goes crazy. And that's it's so difficult because you're in each other's head. And
I wonder where you're going with
this. And then
this.
at the end of this, what do you know, Mr. Tough Military Guy has to get into a Jaeger and replace Slider's dead
Yeah.
brother, hurt brother, injured, arms hurt.
yeah.
He's got a tennis
Hurt
elbow.
father,
He's got
yeah.
tennis elbow or whatever.
Yeah.
And so he can't fight.
Yeah, he fell over once.
He's on disability,
Yeah.
collecting workman's comp. But it's like, and they just do that movie thing. If you ever see thank you for smoking.
Yeah.
With their in the movie producer's advice, we'll just include some line when they're smoking in space. That thing is like Rob Lowe's like, we'll just have some line like, thank God we invented the whatchamahooey machine. Yeah. And that's exactly what they do. Like, I knew your dad. We'll be fine. Yeah. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It's like we'll drift just fine. I knew your dad, and I know everything I need to know about you.
Yeah.
What? You don't know what he was doing. There could be some scary shit that he did in the previous
There's a difference
life.
between compatibility and knowledge. Those are two very different things.
And I was just like, okay, they just clearly had that line because they needed to get the plot moving.
I mean, if you really think about it, both of them are the very no-nonsense, this is fight type people. So,
Fight.
So there is the thing of you kind of buy it because they are similar people, but still, it's one of those things of
if they hadn't have made the previous hour and 45 minutes about how difficult drifting is, and how compatible you need to be, how brothers or father son or lovers, whatever. Yeah. I know him, I played basketball with him once. We're good. He's got a good jump shot. We're okay.
I mean, that made me think of when they did do the fight scene and the guy still said you're not doing it and tells the main character to turn up for duty or going with whoever I tell you to go with. Number one, that wouldn't work anyway, and he's willing to go along with it, I suppose.
Yeah.
And number two, why is he following that guy's direct orders? He's clearly not in whatever military thing there was anymore. And he came along because he said, well, I'm willing to help out with this. And it's like, okay, you're willing to help out with this. You must go with this person that you don't want to go with. Okay, I'll do that.
It's just, it had to be there.
And I am aware that there are people that are probably thinking right now, it is the end of the world. Would you be that selfish? It's like, it really doesn't have anything to do with selfish. If he's not willing to do it, I'm sure the drift isn't going to work that well.
Well, just as long as you know the guy's first name, you're going to drift fine. But.
All right. Well, before we get into ratings, then, shall we bring up the one person we haven't mentioned yet?
Oh, sure. We have, by chance, kind of mentioned him as another character's name. But
this is someone whose name I didn't write down, and I really should have. Chow, I believe.
Yes.
And he is played by Mr. Ron Perlman.
Hellboy himself, yeah. I mean, he probably has about 6 minutes of screen time, but they're a wonderful 6 minutes.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
And
I did like just how arrogant the guy was. Because, sure, someone like that would end up coming along and doing exactly what was going on. He's running this massive underworld organization
that's the black market of kaiju organs, pretty much.
Which, if you think that the government knew that a pound of kaiju marrow or whatever it was can fertilize this much fields, why the hell isn't the government doing that? I mean, if someone knows that...
Is that really your argument?
Well, no.
You wanted more farming in this film.
No, I don't care if they show farming or not, but realistically, let's say someone finds out that you can make really good crops grow in a field with this much kaiju, and the government is fighting the kaiju and everything, and so they have all these leftovers that is miraculously gone in 3 hours or whatever it is. Why the hell wasn't the government just come in and be like, we can actually then take this part of Asia, say, and just make it into a giant farm to help
all
the
their
rest of the world?
resources are into making Jaegers.
Yeah.
It's because they are, 300 feet tall and have to cost about $500 trillion each, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But they don't freak out. Yeah, I mean, the current government freaks out every time a stealth bomber blows up or something, which is a few million, hundreds of million, but one of these things goes, we lost another one. We got a few more.
Yeah, two in rapid succession.
Yeah,
and not a worry.
They're being destroyed faster than they can be built. Those things would have to take like 20 years to get built.
Yeah,
and where are the resources coming from? But
yeah,
the world. We are the world. We are the children. Yeah. Everyone's united. We're making it a better place.
We are arguing politics in this.
Yes, in a pure, fun, escapist film. So.
But this was a great little role by Ron Perlman. I enjoy Ron Perlman in film. My wife hates Ron Perlman.
Oh, I love Ron Perlman.
She didn't really like Hellboy, and I think she'd only ever seen.
And I just thought, I just realized two Sons of Anarchy characters, which I don't watch that show, but
I don't watch it either.
But I know he's in it, and Charlie Hunnam.
Is he in it as well? Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, thinking on some trailers. Yeah,
but they're both in that. Yeah.
All right.
Well, there you go for Sons of Anarchy fans.
Maybe
brought it up.
Maybe they'll throw.
I'm not into the biker scene, but whatever.
Maybe they'll throw a line in somewhere about fighting robots.
Yeah.
If we're going really obscure, you got Thurber from the Sun did that with John Lithgow and William Shatner. William Shatner turned up with a big giant head, and John Lithgow said, "How was your flight?" "Awful. There was a man on the wing of the plane." And John Lithgow said, "That happened to me too." Which you had to know which characters they played in the Twilight Zone series and the Twilight Zone film to get that joke.
Wow, that was some geeking out there.
Oh yeah, I'm covering the geek side on this episode.
Yeah, but I've listened to an episode of the Nerdist podcast with Chris Hardwick where they had Ron Perlman, and he said he would pretty much do anything Guillermo asked him to do. Like they're friends, and it's like, anything, I'll be there. So,
yeah.
I mean, I think that was clearly one of those situations.
Oh, probably.
I mean, he doesn't care that he's only has a few lines of dialogue or whatever. And,
yeah.
But it was awesome. I loved it. And then you have the little capper at the end. A little silly, but it was still kind of funny. Which it appeared, I mean, obvious spoilers, we keep saying it, but it appeared he got chewed quite well going down that throat. There were multiple gulps, like,
yeah,
but then cuts himself out and worried about his gold-plated shoe. But, yes, very. I don't know what the shoe thing was about. Very shoe fetishy kind of in parts.
The only thing I can think of is maybe in this world, like gold is now super.
Well, I mean, no,
expensive.
with the little slipper, the girl carrying the shoe around.
Oh yeah, okay,
and,
So I thought you were referring specifically to his shoe.
Charlie's carrying it around, much in the same position that she was carrying the shoe. So I don't know what was going on with the shoes. Some homage maybe to some foreign film. I don't know, the red shoes, or who knows? Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
that's Red Balloon, wasn't it?
It was a bit of an odd little thing they put in there, but I suppose if you had to have one item that kind of shows something, like having this little red shoe that clearly was nostalgic, and then this shoe that showed he was in power. Yeah, it's just an odd theme that he decided to throw in.
I don't know.
Maybe
we'll
take us off.
We'll leave it to the NYU film students to tell us. But
all right.
I think that's to wrap it up on my take on this film.
I don't have anything else that I've written down for it. So, would you like to give your rating first?
I would, yes.
Oh, good.
Good.
I'm glad you've got a rating.
I don't, but I'm going to come up with one awfully quick.
Okay, well, let's do that then.
Let me do the tabulations, calculations, move this abacus around. Yeah. I am going to come in at a minus 1.5. And I think that's pretty high. I'm trying to be a little more critical with my ratings. I'm just, I love everything. It's minus 0.2 or whatever. No, I think I'm rating this over the span of the next few years, I think.
Yeah.
Minus 1.5. It is a great time at the movies. Definitely one of those, if you don't care that it's been spoiled, definitely still go see it in the theaters.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you got a really sweet setup at home.
Yeah.
But still, I would recommend seeing it in theaters first.
Yeah.
Because you're going to enjoy it then and then enjoy it at home. But,
and especially, if you really want to, there are, for instance, one that we go to, it's $5 on a Tuesday all day. So there are always going to be some cinemas you can go to where it's not going to be that expensive.
A month from now, it'll be in the bargain theaters, and you can watch it there for a couple bucks.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the UK, you're kind of screwed for the most part because they tend not to be.
I know they're dying out in this country, but a drive-in would be awesome to see this film at.
Oh yeah,
the drive-in theater. Yeah, if you could catch it at a drive-in, that would be pretty sweet.
I know that there is one about 4.5 hour drive away, but I'm not
There's
willing
one
to go
closer
that
than that
far.
that a coworker of mine knows about. It's like a half hour away or something. Which
Yeah,
so
I'll have to get that.
yeah,
From
it's
you
like
later, huh?
it's like $9 for an adult or something, and then like $1 for each kiddo or something.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
something like that. But
Yeah.
it's a dying. I always love the drive-in, but it's they're dying out.
Yeah, well,
too sad.
I kind of want
Too
to
bad.
go just because I've never been to one. So that's
Really? Wow, that was a lot of my youth.
As
going
far
to
as
the
I'm
drive-in.
aware, there aren't really any in the UK. I mean, I'm sure there's some makeshift one. but
I
there's
didn't
no-
know them. I always think of it as an Americana type.
Yeah,
thing.
there's not really that many places where you could do it in the UK. I mean, everywhere is either field for farming, a town of some sort, or a big city. And there's in those three places, there's not really.
See, I'm
any way
from
you can put
a
it.
small town of about 10,000 people, and we had 2 drive-in theaters.
Yeah.
One which is still currently running, but
Yeah. And for those of you in the UK, yes, he did just say a small town of 10,000 people.
oh, I know your small towns are 6 people.
Yeah, I would say
Earl, Bob, Joe.
Yeah, I would say I grew up in a small town, and that small town, you could probably say that there were a few thousand people. People living in it.
Yeah, Lola's telling us to move on.
Yeah.
We're talking about population density, and not film. Yes. Do you have a? Oh, yes, your rating, sir. Sorry.
Yeah, sure.
Let's get your rating.
Right, yes. And yes, I will be keeping that in. So people can hear what does go on behind the scenes here.
Okay.
Alright, so my rating, I'm probably going to come in at pretty much where you are, actually. I think a minus 1.5, just because, as you've heard, this film has some flaws if you're actually going
If you're
in there
going to
looking
consider
for
them flaws, I mean,
But if you're thinking about it as just a body of work, this is a very good film. If we were going to go for my personal rating, I might even go for minus 0.5 just because of how much I did enjoy it, how much I like the fight scenes, and how well their money is stretched as far as the CG throughout the film. So, yeah, just because I'm visual, mine is really up there, but my overall, I think you summed it up perfectly with the minus 1.5.
well, thank you. All right. Do you have a Netflix recommendation, sir?
I do, and of course I've forgotten it. So,
Oh, no.
So you vamp for a minute while I look it up, will you?
Oh, well, how are you doing, folks out there? This is Brian. I miss you a lot. How are you? Hopefully Paul will edit this out and not make me sound like a complete jackass. But I don't know. No, I don't. Or, yeah.
All right. Yeah, this is one that I have about 10 minutes left of watching, but I've just been enjoying the hell out of it just because of the premise of it. And I don't know how wide a release it actually got, but Iron Sky. And in case you don't know what it is a film where there are Nazis on the moon.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that should be the tagline. Nazis on the moon.
It is.
Is it? Oh, well. Hey, I'm missing my calling here.
So yeah, this is a film where I heard about it and I thought, you know what, I want to watch that. And then I started watching it and I was like, you know what, this is just what you would think.
Is it a foreign film?
There is German in it. There's a large amount of German spoken
Do you know
in
of
it.
the movie Dead Snow? I think it's called Dead Snow.
It is
That
called
is-
Dead Snow over here. Yes.
I think, but it's like Swedish, I think, or
yeah,
something. But
Ein, die, I believe.
okay, but it's Nazis.
Nazi zombies in a snowy mountain.
Yes, exactly. Which is everything you could want it to be.
Yeah. and yeah, so this film is the Nazi colony on the moon. They've been there since 1945. The only scientific advances they have made is the fact that they have a spaceship. That is it. Their computers are the same.
Okay, gotcha.
Their knowledge of the Earth is the same.
Oh, well, you have to write that. Okay, what is it called again?
It is called Iron Sky.
Iron Sky. I have to put that in the queue.
Yeah, you will enjoy it. It is what it sounds like, and
I'm not expecting, Schindler's List or Citizen. Well, maybe a bad riff there on the Nazis thing, but not expecting Citizen Kane or Maltese Falcon or anything. But yes, a good time like Pacific Rim. Yes.
Yeah, and I will say for those of you that are put off at all, yes, as I said, there is German spoken in it, especially at the beginning of the film. There's a lot of German spoken with the subtitles. don't worry about it. It doesn't last.
Nazis on the moon, just put it on, and if you like to smoke something, maybe smoke that. And have a good time.
I'm sure that will help, yes.
All right. Good recommendation. I didn't really have one. I just kind of thought of one, but I did have a Redbox recommendation, which I will get to. But real quick on Netflix, I'm not going to say much about it, but just to connect it to Pacific Rim, a great show that was canceled well before its time, which always happens with any show I fall in love with. Firefly. Undeclared. It was called Undeclared. It was Judd Apatow and Paul Feig's second effort. They had Freaks and Geeks, which was a high school hour-long dramedy. And canceled after 18 episodes, first season, So Undeclared was their half-hour comedy, straight comedy, in college. College, comedy. And Charlie Hunnam is in that. He's English, and he's the ladies' man. And you have, Jay Baruchel, and, Jason Segel makes certain appearances. Martin Starr is in a couple of episodes. It's all those knocked-up guys, Apatow guys a lot. But it's just, I think, a hilarious show. And
I'll have to look that up.
Very well done. And it is on Netflix. But, check it out if you haven't. It's... Only one season, and that got canceled faster than Freaks and Geeks, I believe. But,
Did it beat Firefly in the canceled?
I don't know, but Anyway, I wanted to get to my Redbox recommendation because I'm always looking to embarrass myself, and this could probably fall into our Guilty Pleasures episode retroactively.
This could be interesting.
I stood watching this film for a long time. I'm like, nope, I'm not watching that formulaic drivel, and and I don't want to see two gorgeous people just complain about their problems, blah blah blah. I won an Oscar or two, I think one, I don't know, but it is a film with the dumbest title I've ever heard, Silver Linings Playbook. Which I freaking loved. I hate that I love this movie. I was like so bored. I was looking through Redbox, and I'm like, there is nothing I want to see. Silver Linings Playbook. Might as well watch it, but and then it's going to be on Netflix next week because I always run it right before it comes out on Netflix. It's really good, and yes, it's a romance comedy, and yes, you know where it's going to go. But I enjoyed the journey getting there, and Robert De Niro, who I think all four principals I believe got nominated. I think best actor, best actress, best supporting actor, best supporting actress, I think.
All right.
I think all got nominated. De Niro and I forget the woman that plays his wife, but Jennifer Lawrence and Bradley Cooper, I know were both nominated. Right. She won, but stumble walking going on stage. But De Niro gives his best performance since anything with Scorsese. And I enjoy the serious guys doing comedy every now and then, like The Walk-In and the De Niro sometimes. But that's all it seems like De Niro's been doing for like the past 10 years, or like bit parts in crappy horror movies, Boogeyman or whatever, kind of stuff that was, But seems like he's doing like little lowbrow, wide splatter comedies, just mass appeal. But this has real emotion to it, his role, and it was really well done. His job, and I think the film was well done. And it's two good people, white people complaining about mental health. But if you watch The Extras, they did raise a lot of awareness for mental health.
Right.
And it has done a lot of good. So check it out. I mean, I'm sure all the women have checked it out already, if you like those things. But it's an enjoyable movie.
My wife wanted to watch it.
Give it a try.
I was...
Ow, as I banged my elbow on your table.
I was willing to watch it, but somehow we haven't ended up being able to watch it. Maybe now that it's going to come to Netflix, we can.
I'm sure it will, because I bring things to Netflix after I spend $6 on demand to watch them. That makes them appear on Netflix a day later.
At the very least, I'm sure that in a year it'll be up there, probably.
Definitely, it's nothing you need to rush and see, but I definitely recommend seeing it. Like, I will probably buy it when it's on like the $5 bin or something, or the $8 bin even. Something like that.
Yeah, the one that you just see is a mass thing in Walmart, just like so many DVDs
jumbled up.
Through.
Yeah. Whatever.
I actually
20 copies of Time Cop, and then there the cop that can be stopped.
the can't be stopped.
Oh, I love you, Nick Frost. All right, I think we've kept the good people, unless you had a final thought here.
I was actually going to say I kind of have a Redbox recommendation as well then, and it's a film that for a brief second I thought maybe you were going to say it, but then when you started to explain what the film was kind of about, then I realised it wasn't it. It's a film that, once again, kind of like Pacific Rim, but not as well done, it kind of knows what it is, and it's just having fun with it, and they clearly went really out there with it. It's the Hansel and Gretel. I can't remember what the tagline for this one is, because there is one that was already on Netflix, I think it was, and it's Hansel and Gretel.
There's another one. I don't know.
Something. That's not it. It's
Witches of Eastwick.
It's the one that has the most useless Avenger in it, as well as Famke Jensen as the bad witch type thing, and someone who I should know but I don't as Gretel. And it's just mad fun. And really,
I will see that when you see Silver Linings Playbook, sir.
I might have to make an effort to see that.
Shake on that.
I will. There we go.
Right,
One hand
we
shake.
did shake on that. All right. All right. I think we're gonna let you go, folks.
Oh yeah, I think we should. All right.
Go to sleep now.
Yes. Sleep.
All right. That's gonna do it for me. I've been Brian.
And I've been Paul.
We'll see you next time, folks.
Bye.
Hang on a minute, lads. I've got a great idea.
Louis, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.
Brian here with a quick lesson in theater etiquette. We don't need to hear your comments after every single trailer.